At this point in my life, when I'm going through the worst of the worst, when it seems like there's not going to be a breakthrough for me, when it seems like the enemy has already destroyed me, God got me, but at the same time, the devil was saying, I'm not going to give her up without a fight. So I started going through all kinds of issues, like spiritual issues. See, some of these men aren't going to talk about some of the things we go through that's attacking our body, our mind, our soul, our spirit. When I say the enemy went into all our warfare, these warfares that we go through, a lot of people think you can conquer them alone. And I'm going to be real with you. I didn't conquer not one warfare alone. God was with me. God was with us. God was with my children. You understand? My children was going through. I was going through. My mama was going through. My mama's mama was going through. My granddaddy was going through. He's in the grave and they were going through. My ancestors was going through. My people was going through. My people that I hadn't even been introduced to was going through. My family was going through. The enemy was rejoicing over my seed, thinking that he was going to take my seed through, my children's children through. The enemy began to tell me all kinds of stuff, how he's going to make my grandson not be a man, and my son not be a man, and my sons will never be men, and all of this stuff right here. Something that God birthed them to be. The enemy was taking me through so much. I'm waking up in the middle of the night just going through. I get up in the morning, I'm going through. And like I said, some people don't even know that you're sick because God has his hands on you. I told the story once of this woman, and my mama pointed her out, and she looked just like my auntie. My mom pointed this woman out, and this woman was so beautiful. My mama said that woman got AIDS. And she done been to death door so many times. But God said she won through. And God got his hands on her. And she looked it good. Looked like she had AIDS. Looked like nothing went wrong with her. My mama say she had it. She been diagnosed with it, had been in the hospital and everything, walking around. She looked at nice. Like nothing went wrong with her. And here I am in my adulthood, thinking about how God had his hands on me all these years. Where people couldn't even tell I was sick. Last night, I laid down in here in the bed and couldn't breathe at all. Couldn't hardly breathe. I thought that my heart was going to fail me and that I would need to be taken to the emergency room. Couldn't even breathe. But God had his hands on me. Woke up, and listening to the song Born Blessed. Through trials and tribulations, I'm still blessed. This is a part of me being born blessed. Just because I'm serving God doesn't mean that I won't go through. Just because I'm serving God doesn't mean that I won't have issues. Just because I'm serving God does not mean that I won't have trials, tribulations, troubles, headaches, and go through the same thing everybody else go through. The only thing that's the different, God got his hands on me. And the craziest thing, God begins to put you in favor positions. You can't understand how it is to be unfavored. I had to pray for favor. I had to pray for favor. I wasn't guaranteed favor. I had to pray for favor. I wasn't promised that everything was going to go the way I wanted it to go. I prayed for favor back when I was working in corrections because I was starting noticing I was going through so many problems and so many headaches and so many things was going on in my life. I said, God, I pray that you give me favor in the eyesight of those that have authority over me. But now I got to sit up there and I got to also pray a prayer for those that are underneath me, that He will give me favor in their eyesights too. Because even though I may people that are underneath me treat them appropriately, doesn't mean that they will respect me. So I have to pray both ways for that which is above me and that which is underneath me. But I have favor with them both because I never know what's going to happen from day to day. But as God started to give me favor, I started to understand how unfair some things were. See, I got favor. People liked me and stuff like that, but that didn't stop me from going through. It just gave me favor when I'm going through. I talk about this. I talk about Joseph. Joseph sits up here. He ends up enslaved. How favorable is that for him? It wasn't fair. So when people come in my face and tell me favor ain't fair, and I have to sit up there and agree with them because it's ushering me into my destiny in an unfair way, but yet and still God has his hands on me. I've been dealing with so many different things, people stealing stuff out my mailbox, my credit cards out my mailbox, my cage number. I'm trying to work for the federal government on contract. They done stole my cage number out the mailbox. They stealing everything that I'm trying to do and want me to go up under them to do what I need to do. When God said up and he said, you come to me direct, you can come to me independent. You come to me unaffiliated with that foolishness that they're on. And that's pretty much my goal. That's pretty much what I'm sending out to do. And I'm asking God for favor because when you go out to do things, people can sit up there and say, "Yeah, we'll give it to you. We'll help you," and stuff like that. Doesn't mean that it always get done. So I started seeing the unfairness of favor a long time ago. A long time ago, and how it related to Joseph's story. Joseph sitting up there. The man wife said he raped her. She's so fascinated with him. He had favor in her eyesight. But the favor wasn't just favor, it was lust. It was a whole bunch of other stuff connected to the favor. And because of that, the woman desired him to sexually. And he refused to sin because he has favor in the eyesight of her husband as well. He refused to sin against this man, refused to sit up and sleep with him, sleep with her, refused to cover this man's household and do wrong against this man because this man had authority over him. He ends up in jail. Could you imagine a woman saying she was raped by this man's servant with the garment in hand? And the man threw him in a jail cell? Could you imagine all that he went through? All that he went through. And they say even though he went through all of that, he still rose in favor amongst the guards. Amongst everybody that came in contact with him, he still had favor. That was unfair to him. It was unfair that he had to go through that situation. I was lied on. They tried to take my favor through lies. But yet and still, God still gave me favor, even no matter where I went to. God gave me favor despite the odds. Through lies they set up there and took over. I can't tell you how many times these people done lied on me. They took my kids, lied on me, abused me, mistreated me, didn't care for me, thought that everything that they did was just as righteous as they wanted to be. Um, I went through all that hell. Even now, they still prying in my personal business. You want to do a wage verification. You want to sit up and you want to see how much money I make, so you can know how much you're gonna take. You want to see how much I'm doing so that you can know how much you can sit up there and take from me. I was working, doing all kinds of work like substituting and stuff like that. And I remember one time they set up there, went on my card. I was trying to save up money so that I can, have money back. Money disappear off your card all the time, and they try to sit up there and make you think it's you and that you're stupid, and because you're not documenting and writing everything down. I shouldn't have to document and write everything down, but now this is the life that I'm forced to live because I'm dealing with people who want authority over me, but I'm serving God. See, now this is where it's gonna get good at. Because now I'm in a situation in my life where even those that have authority over me have no authority over me because they got to go through God, which rules over me, who puts favor, authority, and issues out power. So a lot of times when they go after me, a lot of the stuff don't touch me because God's sitting up there in the midst, like, hold up, wait a minute, it ain't gonna work like that. Even with them having authority over me, you're a supervisor, but you have authority over me, but at the same time, you no longer dealing with me personally. You're dealing with my God. So my God, you got to deal with. You're not really dealing with me. My only job is to come there and work and be faithful in my working and faithful in doing the job. But if you mistreat me, you're not no longer dealing with me. You dealing with my God. And sometimes I go through unfair situations. I can tell you sometimes I will fired off the jobs for no reason at all. Get out of here. And I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes I rejoice when they fire me. I can't tell you the last job. They call themselves firing me, trying to give me a lower position. I say, ma'am, let me be real with you. You already not paying me what I'm supposed to get paid because they're still in this fantasy world that minimum wage is $7.25 when my minimum wage is $15.75. We got rent $1,500, $1,600. It's almost $2,000 now for a one bedroom, one bathroom in certain locations. Now I can go to other locations and try to survive amongst the hustle and bustle of certain locations for maybe less than that and in accordance with their means. But let me be real with you. Those are rape situations. I had an apartment one time in the middle of the hood on 6th Street. This is like hood. It's like got 5th Street, got 6th Street, hood. They play music all night. They prostitutes. They got prostitutes, hookers, whores, everything out on the streets. Like out there. They smoke, drink. They do it all right there out on the streets. So I got a little small apartment there, $450. I can't tell you. I feel like men were coming in my house raping me off at night. I can't tell you that there was evidence of me being raped and I wasn't even sexually active. I can't tell you how much turmoil I went through living in those areas. And to be totally honest with you, how much people didn't care. Now, what I'm going through is ushering me into a destiny. Is it fair to me? It's unfair. It's unfair. Being blessed is sometimes unfair too. But at the same time, God, that's I guess that's just God's way of removing me from the area. People stealing money out my mailbox because they're jealous. They say she lived too good and I ain't even had lights on. People asking me for food and I'm like, look, sweetheart, I barely can feed myself. I'm struggling. I barely can feed myself. Could you imagine how it is for a person that can barely eat and other people asking them for food? Like, sweetheart, I don't mind, but I can barely eat. I'm going through switches, tears, all kinds of abuse. And nobody knows how hard it is going through that. And a lot of people get off on this affliction thing, but that gonna cause them a whole bunch of problems because that's part of the reason why this demonic battle is going the way it's going, where righteous people are causing afflictions with unrighteous people and they're going in war with each other. Afflicting people is not bringing people to God. That has to stop too. They ain't coming home to God with y'all carrying on with them. A lot of times that's the reason why they never make it back to God because of that carrying on. So we gotta be careful what we doing because a lot of times we glorifying the tribulations and causing the tribulations, not knowing that those tribulations can cause people to sin. The enemy rejoices every time a person go through. We cannot give the enemy that type of joy. So y'all be careful what y'all doing out there. Y'all be careful because there's so much going on, so much more to what is really taking place. I even talked to people the other day about the fact that they have um saved people, righteous people now. He's supposed to be people of God now. Honest to God. Talking about they want rulership and ownership over just regular common people and have taken on demonic. They have taken on themselves as demons, trying to possess the righteous. So yes, we have demonic possession going on in the church where little girls are going through in the church because they have initiated themselves with these people that believe in demonic possession and trying to take control of the people, the mind, trying to take control of the people, trying to destroy them. And we have to be careful. So it's not just ungodly people doing this. It's some people that sitting up there talking about they repping God and they're doing this. And God been telling us about this. He say, man, when he talks about Eden, set up that he sent his children to watch. I put a cherubim. His children began to pretend that they were God amongst each other, pretended to be gods amongst them. I guess he said these will be your people for you to watch over and look out for. Listen to me. When people began to pretend to be God over those people, keeping them in a dumbfounded state, the people never really got free from that until God freed them from that through a servant. A servant had to come and free them from bondage. And ever since then, this war has been brewing spiritually with these people trying to be gods over us. When God just told them, it's your job to look out for him, take account, make sure they're okay, make sure they're all right. What anybody would do if you have a child, what are you gonna do for your children? You're gonna try to find people to look out for your children if you can't look out for them. We sending our kids to daycare, and the daycare center's doing the same thing. The daycare center's doing the same thing that these people did in Eden, and we still haven't recognized that. The daycare center's doing it. The school's doing it. A lot of places is doing the same thing these people did in Eden. We're sending our kids to be watched because the way they're dealing with us is the same way they dealt with our God. Trying to enslave our God, mistreat our God, the same way they treating us. So we got to be mindful. We got to be careful. We got to stay prayed up. And we have to know that being blessed, sometimes we ain't going to feel blessed. And being favored, sometimes it ain't going to be fair. Because that we're under constant attack. Because of being favored, being blessed, and God having his anointing and his hands on us, we go up under constant attack. Know these things. Walk in your calling. Do what God has called for you to do. And stress not. Trust God in all things. Everything that goes on with you. If you really believe in God and trying to live by that word of God, everything that goes on with you is going to work out for your favor, even when you don't feel it. Like it's working out for your favor. He's going to separate you from things that have kept you bound for years and years and years. That separation is going to put you sometimes in situations you don't want to be in. You're going to tell people, look, I'm not going to deal with you anymore. And you're going to go into a bad situation just for your deliverance. I hope you guys are ready. May God bless you. Stay strong and believe in the word of God.